Perez in the paint off a couple of screens. Esquivel to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria!
There's Warner. Here comes a head of the jam. Counted for two. Field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved. What a game. Cortez smacked
To the left. That is gone.
Block for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Count it. And a win.
And a win. Brian Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go nuts. And why not?
Live once again here from Luke Fruia Motors, Luke Fruia Buick GMC and Cadillac off of Old Price Road. And, well, this is exciting because, well, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I'm back, of course, covering this or just being able to talk. And, of course, yes, a lot of big things coming up very soon. And from games this week to everything that really RSL has in store for you all, which is very exciting. Again, games this week will consist of some big ones. District matchups finally, of course, begin. District has been going on for volleyball for a bit of a minute, but it's very exciting, very, very fun. We'll talk about, of course, the game that I was at last night and what's on tap this weekend. And we're just breaking down some teams, and of course, it's going to be very fun. We'll talk TSC soccer, of course, because there's still a lot to talk about for, of course, TSC soccer, as they have started their conference play this past week and looking to try and continue it next week, to be exact, against a fairly difficult team. So it's going to be very interesting, to say the least, of course. And we'll see how it all plays out and goes. Very exciting once again. So we start off with, well, hello, and going to what is on tap this week for Rio Sports Live Network, for RSL Network. What is on tap? For, of course, today, we have, of course, the Luke Fruia show. Then St. Joseph Academy will have their games going on this evening. A lot of junior varsity football, or, well, JV football here today. And then tomorrow, Thursday, begins an interesting day. 8 a.m. cross country. That will be done by St. Joseph Academy's crew, Kevin Naro. And then we'll have, of course, none other than Chalk Talk football, 8th grade. That's on Thursday. Then Thursday, of course, we have the big broadcast games, which is pretty interesting to be itself. 6:30 p.m., of course, is when the broadcast will start. It's at Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And then, of course, it will be Brownsville, Rivera, and Harlingen South. Myself will be on the call. We'll have Gael and Tristan as our two camera ops, which will be interesting. Hopefully, of course, the rain stays away for that one, as we do have camera ops that will be doing the game. And then, of course, three others. There will be 2 live games that day. One of them will be, of course, on Channel 4.1. The other one will be on My Valley Central. The second one on My Valley Central will be, or the second one by KVO, that will be on My Valley Central, will be live, to be exact. Broadcast time at 6:30 p.m. at Brownsville Sports Park. Brownsville Lopez taking on Rio Grande City Gruya. Rudy Z will be on the call with one other camera op. Now for the other 2, that will be live on Rio Sports Live Network, but will be on replay come Sunday, will be none other than Edinburgh taking on Edinburgh Economides, or it will be at Edinburgh Economides taking on Brownsville Pace. There we go. And then after that, It will be the next one as well. The same day. It will be at Ed Couch Elsa. Ed Couch Elsa taking on Edinburgh High School. Very exciting there. We named the last one. That is, of course, what's on tap tomorrow, which is very exciting. And then, of course, on tap for Fun Friday. We'll have, of course, your Channel 4 game at 6:30 p.m. That will be at Tom Landry Stadium, and it will be Mission Vets taking on Laredo LBJ. Very exciting game there. Then after that will be, as well, the rest of them will be on replay. Broadcast time, of course, at 7 p.m. That's Palmview versus McAllen Rowe. So Nikki Rowe traveling to Palmview to play against Palmview High School, which is very exciting. Of course, that weekend, to be exact, Thursday, Mac High gets to host none other than La Jolla Juarez Lincoln. And then after that, on the Friday is McAllen Memorial getting to host who they play on that Friday. And so then that means that Nikki Rowe, the outside team, they get to travel this week. And then after that game, of course, Edinburgh Vela taking on Mission High School. And then Marine Military Academy will play JFK San Antonio. Exciting game there. And then Brownsville Veterans Memorial. At Brownsville Veterans Memorial is Brownsville Hannah versus Sharyland Pioneer High School. Very exciting game there. Then 5 p.m. as well. At St. Joseph Academy is going to be the Austin Regents traveling to St. Joseph Academy, a game that, well, St. Joseph Academy, the football players, as we did interview early on, were very excited about that game. This one was the one that they really, of course, marked down in district play, to be exact, besides that non-district game. So exciting there. And then really your Saturday side of things, we'll have Pioneer and PSJ Southwest for Pioneer High School Volleyball. And then myself will be taking on Mission Vets and Juarez Lincoln as it stands. And then SJA and Laredo St. Augustine for Kevin Naro and the SJA crew. So very exciting weekend slate of games from Rio Sports Live Network. Of course, check RSL Network social media pages for all the games and where they will be, from RSL 1 to the Sharyland channel to the Brownsville ISD channel to all of those, and check which games will be live on the My Valley Central app, to as well as channel 4.1 from Thursday and Friday. So very exciting for all of those games. And of course, we'll dive into more of those, of course, coming up here very shortly, because there's still a lot to talk about, especially from this whole entire season. Who's been the outlier? Who's been the best team so far that I've been able to cover, and things of that nature, because there's still so much season to go. But we're heading into week number 4. Just like that, we're at week number 4 this weekend. 3 weeks of football. So there's starting to be a story to tell. And that's pretty interesting in my eyes. What teams you can expect to really be the difference maker, and what teams you thought were a playoff caliber team to one that's struggling after expecting to be really good this season. And of course, I mean, for me, that would be Ed Couch Elsa. I've gotten to watch them play twice. Yes, it might have been against a difficult opponent 2 times in a row, but remember, the Mission Veterans Memorial game 2 weeks ago for Ed Couch Elsa, that was a game that, honestly, they could have won. In the first half, having those issues to score costed them that game. Costed them not being able to go down the field. You know, you don't have your starting quarterback out. You have your backup quarterback, and that was wide receiver who ends up starting that game. Okay. But he led great drives to score early on, but could not do anything else. and they end up getting decimated in the second half, out-schemed on every aspect. Of course, that's giving credit to Mission Veterans Memorials, who wanted it more. And that's the problem right now is Ed Coach also have not found that. They get to play this weekend. We get to cover them this weekend, and that's going to be key. What can Ed Chelsea do to prove that they are able to compete in district and win? Because they don't have an easy district coming up. They have Mercedes High School and all these other teams. It's not an easy district whatsoever. But of course, all you have to do is finish fourth place in district and you make the playoffs. So they're capable of doing it. But yes, making the playoffs is massive. But you want to make it past the first round if you can. And right now, at Coach also don't look like a team that can do that. And that's very interesting in my eyes. I haven't gotten to, of course, cover Sherryland High School or any of those teams to see what the other side of the district really looks like. But I can tell you one thing. I guess, well, really, we did see it, of course, with Mission Vets. And Mission Vets, of course, they look like the outstanding team in the by-district side of things. So we'll see how that plays out. Of course, there's still so much more to go through. Of course, I've been able to now cover 2 straight weeks in a row, Mackay as well. The Mackay Bulldogs got to play, of course. I got to see them against none other than PSJ Memorial. And against PSJ Memorial, well, there was an interesting start to that game. Of course, we mentioned it. Special teams plays a factor. They get the ball at about the PSJ Memorial 10-yard line, or around the 19 actually, fumbled, snapped down to the 30, and all of a sudden Wolthoff could not score, and the team has to settle for a 4th down turnover. First drive, all of a sudden PSJ Memorial go down and they score the goal. They score a touchdown. 7-0 just like this. Then McAllen High School wake up and they showed us what they were made of. Now that was a big game and a big moment, especially. The special teams really did help that team out, this time for the Mackay Bulldogs. But I go back to it. Sure, that was a big game and a big turning point after they had lost the first game against Los Fresnos because the team was new in a way. And so that's really how it kind of sort of balanced out. But there was still a lot to be desired from Mackay on that second week game. So it brings me over to this third week and why I'm bringing up Mackay, the Mackay Bulldogs, for a reason of, well, there are some, of course, alumni, there's some students that, of course, listen to this show, but not only that, they're a top team in my eyes in high school football. Now, there's, of course, still 2 others, I should say, that, of course, are in that 5A division that are that good. I would say, really, I'll even say my top 5 right now. I still, of course, believe. Now, I haven't been able to catch Brownsville Veterans Memorial, but I still believe they're number 1 with number 2 of being PSJ North. Now, I think PSJ North can get knocked off this season. I don't think that they'll go undefeated. I still think that they will have a loss in their district. Potentially, of course, their district is not the easiest with like I said, Mackay. I believe a part of their district. I'll double check that just to make sure for PSJ North and their district. And why I kind of went to this is because there's just so much to really talk about. 70-7 against Donna North. Now they can put up 70 points. It's great. Their district actually is a lot different than I anticipated. They're in the district with Corpus Christi teams, and I did not necessarily know that. Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial, that's going to be the biggest test for themselves this weekend. It's at CCVM. to be exact. So we'll wipe out that exactly. And like I said, they have a tough district ahead. It's not the easiest. I think if PSG and North now beat CCVM on the road, yes, you can easily say that they're the better team. Easily. That's just the way that it looks. So it is Brownsville Veterans Memorial, PSG North by far. You would have Edinburgh Villa as a third team by far, but it's not there. It's not there. They're not there at all. And so as we go on with it it's with five, of course, five teams. Like I said, it's just the top five, and it's very difficult for me to really pick five teams still at this point. But you looked at Edinburgh Villa, you probably would say third team, right? Third or fourth team. Well, what happened against Edinburgh High is I don't know. Because this team looked like they were that top team, and then all of a sudden, they got out schemed and outplayed completely at home. What happened there, I don't know. So they would drop, I guess, to fifth in my eyes, because guess who's right up there? McAllen Memorial, Mackay. I would not say Edinburgh High School or Economies. I would say Mercedes could potentially pop up there. I still have to see a lot more from them. I think they would be on sixth place around there outside looking in. Mission Vets, from what I saw from that play, definitely. I'd say they're fourth. That third place team, you definitely give that at the moment to Mackay, in my eyes. So it's very, very interesting in my eyes of where everything kind of goes to. I don't know. That's my top five. I'm sure a lot of people have different top fives of football at the moment. That's, yes, of course, really just covering the five. But the 5A in my eyes, that's the best one. Yes, people are probably questioning where's the Los Fresnos, where's all these teams, and I'm like, yes, Brownsville Veterans Memorial are 6A, but there's not any other 6A teams that impress me that much. Los Fresnos, I think, have kind of subsided and gone down. Maybe, of course, your top 10. Yes, we would pick them in, or I'd pick them in the top 10 for sure. There was a lot of difference in my eyes of a top 10. And that's the truth. That is the truth by far of who I would say. Yes, of course, McAllen Memorial, some may say that is very, very biased of you to pick them in a top five. Prove me otherwise, because I will read you exactly how McAllen Memorial have done this season for football. And they've done well. In the last 3 weeks now, of course, they did have to play San Antonio Johnson at home. They played San Antonio Johnson on the road last year. So at home this year, how are they playing? Well, take that back. It has not been the best of years for McAllen Memorial. I thought that they were on a bit of a hot streak, but no, losing to Wasaco 31-24 and losing 38-10 against San Antonio Johnson. It was at San Antonio Johnson. I thought they were at home. Proves otherwise. So I'll take this into consideration here. Okay, we'll eliminate McAllen Memorial from the top five list. And again, you move everyone up one, so fourth place. And so the fifth place would be pretty in. So I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. We'll take a quick break. I'm Jake behind Fruia Sports Live Network. We'll be right back after this.
This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
So back we go once again here, of course, going back to my point of that top five really list of it's very subject. I mean, there was a lot of teams that you could definitely choose in that top five area and all across the valley. And really for the teams that I've covered, it kind of stays that way for myself. McAllen Memorial, I thought were doing a lot better than they actually were, having a couple of non-district losses. I would say they're not at that caliber that I thought. Mackay Bulldogs, I feel like, are at that caliber. That's why they'd be top three in my eyes. And Edinburgh Valley, you'd move to fifth right now. I think you keep them at fifth. And that's kind of the interesting part. So anyways, going back to it, which is, again, pretty interesting in general. For these upcoming football games that we are, of course, covering, let's break down, of course, the game that will be the biggest one tomorrow. Let's quickly do that as we kind of are just trying to move on and get into that rhythm of things. It's a pretty big one. Brownsville Veterans Memorial Stadium is where it will be hosted. As we all know, of course, Sam Stadium's still under renovation at the moment, and that is the reason of why we have to use this Brownsville Sports Park and none other than Brownsville Veterans Memorial Stadium. Brownsville Veterans Memorial Stadium the past 2 years were already starting to be used as Brownsville Veterans Memorial wanted a more home environment, and so they hosted a lot more of their games there, which helped out with having a lot less Saturday football games too. So we move on to this part. At Brownsville Veterans Memorial Stadium, we have Brownsville Rivera, and Brownsville Rivera football have been pretty interesting, but they're playing against none other than a bigger team, Harlingen South. The Harlingen South Hawks have been your team that's both are 1-2. It's tough to say where this team is because they haven't played a lot of teams. They played Flower Bluff, and one of their losses, of course, against Flower Bluff ended up being 49-6, losing 49-35 to Rowe at home. In a way, was a blow, but again, it's their first game. It was their first game of the regular season, and that's tough to, of course, judge a team based off of that first week game most of the times in high school football. Now, in college football, that's a different story, but in high school football, that's where, of course, you can go to. let me be more clear. In college football, that's a different story unless you're playing against a D3 school in an FCS school that's number one. That's the truth. Yes, that is a dig to UTRGV. Let's see how they do in conference play. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But you continue it once again with, of course, the loss to McAllen Rowe, but then beating their rivals 17-0. Shutting them out was a big statement victory for themselves. And then against Flower Bluff, losing 49-6 was not great because it looks like they didn't score a touchdown at all during that game. You kind of take a look at how everything went, and your final score 49-6, where Harlingen South High School just didn't really have any offense to really gain. The Hawks, you're looking at their offense, their rushing, and things of that sort, and it wasn't the best. That's the best way to put it. And it's against a great team of Flower Bluff. The Flower Bluff Hornets just showing us what they're capable of, even outside of volleyball, too. So it's interesting. That's the best way to put it. For the Harlingen South Hawks, again, I'm saying this a lot for a lot of teams, but it's true. Leaving a lot to be desired for. For Brownsville Rivera, they're 1-2 as well. Can really at this point be 2-1 or 1-2 or 3-0. And so lost 49-6 against Corpus Christi Vets. Proves these two teams are kind of in the same way. They were in a shootout against Edinburgh North and won 45-44. Lost to La Jolla High School 45-28. And so, of course, lost last week 49-6 on the 12th against Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial at Corpus Christi Vets. Tough travel and a tough game. A tough loss to swallow. Now starting district play with Harlingen South High School, Donna High School, of course, PSJ Memorial, Wesco East, and Flower Bluff, and Donna North, and PSJ North. It's interesting. I don't know where to go for this team. All I know is that this is going to be a great game. Both of these two teams, guess what, lost against really the same opponents. You want to look at a great game, it's going to be Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial versus Flower Bluff. That's going to be an intense game. This week, of course, Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial versus PSJ North. That's going to be a phenomenal game at Corpus Christi Vets. Again, another home game for them. So there's a lot to break down, like I said. Both teams are struggling and need a victory to go to 500. One of those two teams will be able to do that by the end of tomorrow night. Now, there is forecast for potential rainfall. But let's look at the forecast together to be exact for Brownsville weather. And, of course, where Brownsville Veterans Memorial is, if you've never been there before, well, it's pretty simple. It is not near Brownsville Rivera, but you do take that exit of the Los Fresnos exit. Instead of turning left to go to Los Fresnos, you turn right, then you turn left, and you're in the back roads of Brownsville, near the border wall to be exact. Then all of a sudden, here is beautiful Brownsville Veterans Memorial High School. Turn in there, there's the stadium, and that's where the game will be played at. Now, the weather's looking a bit better for, of course, Thursday. Just a bit better for sure. It starts off 7 a.m. expecting 40% chance of rainfall. Then thunderstorm, I should say. Then 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. expect no rainfall. And then by 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., I should say, it's 20% chance, a 40% chance, 20% chance throughout the whole day. All the way up 2 p.m., it's going to be a 50% chance. Rainfall should end by 3 p.m., which means everything should be dried up perfectly for game time. The weather should be absolutely great. By 6 p.m., 7, 8, 9, we should have a phenomenal evening of football until, of course, final whistle where all of a sudden we'll have a winner. Again, Brownsville Veterans Memorial, or check that, Brownsville Rivera. With the home crowd behind them, I wouldn't be shocked to see a victory. But as for Harlingen South, the Hawks, what have they figured out this week in order to really, really make it a miserable time for Brownsville Rivera? Both of these two schools, like I said, they can put up offense when given the opportunity. We saw a 45-44 showing against Edinburgh North for Brownsville Rivera. That is not an easy task in the slightest. Once again, for Harlingen South, their win 17-0 against Harlingen High. It's a good victory. It's not a great one, but it's a good one. These two schools technically have quality wins, but the two losses show worse signs than prominence. Again, for Brownsville Rivera to lose 45-28 against La Jolla High School, a team that has been struggling for years and years and years. Just to give you a little heads up of how bad they've been struggling for years, let's go 23-24 last year. Went 0-9 and 0-5. 0-9 overall, 0-5 in district play. Kind of what we're trying to hint at. Then La Jolla High School, of course, in 22-23, went 2-9, 2-3 in district. Finished fourth in district, to be exact. Did a better job than, of course, the year prior, or the year forward. But my whole point is, I think Brownsville Rivera is going to struggle more than Brownsville Vets. Or check that, then, well, yes, they're going to struggle more than Brownsville Vets, but the bigger thing that they will struggle at is against Harlingen South, I think, a lot more. I think Harlingen South have that edge in the end for that game. Now, of course, moving on to the next one here very quickly, because we're really going in depth with that one. Now, the next one that, of course, I'll be broadcasting on, so just getting kind of to grips with it, will be at Palmview High School against McAllen Rowe. This is an interesting one. McAllen Rowe, I believe, dropped their game last week, so we'll look at, of course, Nikki Rowe's upcoming games for high school football. Like we mentioned, they do play against Palmview High School. This one is an interesting one. They won their first game, 49-35, as we talked about, against Harlingen South High School. Since then, have dropped two games, 38-24 against Los Fresnos and Mercedes 28-16. So those two games were chances to win. The Mercedes game was covered by Rio Sports Live Network, but at that same time, of course, some things didn't necessarily go according to plan. Anyways, you go back to it. That's really for Nikki Rowe. They didn't go according to plan for Nikki Rowe. And because you're looking at the box score, you're saying, how did they let this slide? Up 7-3 in the first quarter. Didn't score anything in the second. That's where a lot of losses happen. It's that second quarter. I've noticed this a lot, this season especially, where teams don't score in that second quarter and end up somehow, some way, just struggling throughout the rest of the game, not being able to score. Mackay, that's how their first loss happened against Los Fresnos High School, not scoring in that second half, or not scoring in the second quarter, really second and third. So you don't get that offense. You don't get that opportunity to really ignite your team. Going to halftime, players are mad at each other, most likely. Maybe a drop pass that could have been caught or something of that sort. 13 points scored by Mercedes High School in that second, or in that third quarter, I should say. 6 points, of course, scored in that second quarter. And so really, Rowe were just on the back foot, trying to move forward. They get a safety in the fourth quarter and nothing more of that. 28-16. Your final Mercedes High School. In a way, they squeaked by, but they did the right things, and they're 3-0. So for the Warriors, I mean, you do have your completions over attempts is 13-21. Your yards is 150. For Garza, 1 TD, 1 interception. That's where things need to change, are those turnovers. Of course, we all know that. Palmview's not an easy team this year. We'll look at Palmview High School, of course, and really just previewing this game. Again, Palmview High School, they're 3-0. There's not really any stats for Palmview High School. So it's tough to judge where Palmview High School are at, besides the fact that they are 3-0. Winning 34-14 over PSJ Southwest, winning at Roma 23-0, winning 50-20 over Brownsville Lopez. This team has offense. This is the first time that I've truly seen Palmview High School good at football. And not only are they good, they're scoring points to compete. 34 points, 23 points, 50 points. Now is Nikki Rowe's defense, really that's where it's going to come down to. Nikki Rowe's defense has to come out if they want a chance to win and knock off this perfect season at the moment for Palmview High School to open up, of course, district play, as we've talked about. And that's the truth right now, is it is district play. Pretty interesting, because the next games for Palmview High School are at Rio Grande City. Definitely, if they're putting up these types of points, could be a victory, versus Mission High School. Mission are still struggling in my eyes. That can be a win. At Mackay, most likely won't be. Wada's Lincoln, that's going to be a fun game. And then at Vela and versus McCallum Memorial, the last two games are very key. This is the craziest thing that I may say. Winning district is not out of the picture if they beat Rowe. We don't know if Edinburgh Vela will be able to bounce back the way that they have. That might be a great game. It's very exciting to see what this Palmview Lobos football team can do. Let me tell you something. When I started working at Rio Sports Live Network in 2019, I'd always known the Lobos terrible at football. Boys soccer was okay. Nothing absolutely amazing. Especially girls soccer, not there as well at the program. All of a sudden, there's this new head coach comes along for soccer, changes the tide for that, and all of a sudden now, same deal for Palmview football. Absolutely insane. Now 3-0, that's nothing short of impressive. They're 3-0 overall and have a chance to do something very, very impressive coming up here soon. That game's going to be good against Nikki Rowe. Nikki Rowe have to be on their A game. They have to want to win here and make sure to knock off a team on the road at Palmview High School. We're looking forward to it, to bring you all coverage from Palmview. So, I'm Jake Young, this is Rio Sports Live Network. We're going to take a break. When we return, we are going to switch gears and go and talk TSC soccer and really kind of not wrap up the shows. It's 2:40 p.m., but we'll talk TSC soccer and we'll go from there. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Fiber, business or home, take a look at what we do.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. Fruia GMC, we're professional grade.
This summer, it's time to go outside and get some air. Explore a pirate ship. Or go horseback riding on the beach. And you can't forget about all the fun on the bay. South Padre Island has so much to do for the whole family. Book your summer getaway today. Visit SoPadre.com.
Graduation time. Time to make some decisions. What's next? Can I afford to continue my education? What are my options? At Brownsville ISD Career and Technical Education, you can graduate from high school with a certificate and/or license ready to go to work, debt-free. We have a wide range of programs for every student ranging from audiovisual, law enforcement, STEM robotics, electrical, welding, pharmacy, patient care tech, and many more to choose from. That's why Brownsville ISD is the best choice.
Back we go once again here now, of course, talking Texas Southmost College soccer. There's a lot to really get to about it all because, well, for TSC, they have officially started conference play. They started this past Tuesday, which was yesterday, and, well, there's much to get to for this. As for the men's soccer team, the last time before they played last night or yesterday, they played against Tyler Junior College. The Tyler Junior College game, to give you a glimpse at when the last match of that was. We'll go with, of course, Texas Southmost College. It was a couple weeks ago is what I'm trying to really get at here. As for the men's soccer, just having that, not issue, but just kind of going back to when they officially played the matches as well. That was actually last year's schedule. Now here's this year's schedule. And again, just had a very difficult start to the season. You're looking at, of course, going back, of course, to it was on the 30th of October, or 30th of August was when the last time that, well, they played at home. That was against Tyler Junior College, lost 2-0. I can go on and on about that match itself as I was covering it. TSC had every chance to get a draw. Now, of course, this is non-conference soccer. Some may say, well, it's non-conference. It doesn't matter. It does, though. NJCAA committee looks at those games, of course, and they're trying to pick out, of course, the best teams to make it to the conference tournament. Or not even the conference tournament, I should say, to the NJCAA tournament. Just like the NCAA tournament, yes, that is a thing. And so, yes, Tyler Junior College was ranked at the time. We'll give you exactly what they're ranked now. But 2-0. It was... Now, if those 2 goals, because of 2 PKs, don't happen, is it still going to happen? I don't, or do they still score is my point. I don't know. Because Tyler Jr. or TSC looked that good in order to keep a 0-0 draw, but 2 fouls inside the box were frustrating. One was a trip just inside the box, trying to go for the ball. Not intentional one bit. It just happened to clip him. Saw it from my eye and saw penalty. 1-0 TJC. The biggest problem right now with TSC soccer is for the men's side, they can't score. They cannot score at them. And it's frustrating to watch, to witness. So, after that match was Northeast Texas Community College. They were able to score 2 goals, so I'm looking at, of course, this, and that's, the truth. But then, playing against Northeast Texas Community College, actually, playing against Northeast Texas Community College, scoring a goal and losing 2-1, unfortunately. That was their last time to play a match. That was on September 6th. And so then that was for the men's side. And I go back to it. The second goal, of course, for TJC was another PK. Keeper comes off his line, gets frustrated, grabs the player, and the player, of course, falls. That's going to be a PK. 10 out of 10, almost, 9 times out of 10. And goal scored, 2-0. TJC. Going up to Northeast Texas Community College, a place that Texas Southmost College men's soccer have never won at. They lose 2-1. 2 years ago, came up there and lost 2-1. Crazy enough. It's a team that isn't a part of their conference, but a team that likes to come down to the Valley and scout as well. And have gotten a couple of players to come up there to basically Oklahoma. Let's be clear. Northeast Texas, Mount Pleasant, Texas, it's basically Oklahoma. It's funny, but it's the truth. It's frustrating to see these results. This is 3 years later, and nothing's changed. It doesn't feel different for the men's team at the moment. The fight is there, but the play is just not, in my eyes. Now, playing against Louisiana State University Eunice, that was going to be, against the Bengals, that was going to be a difficult match to win. It's on the road. You're traveling, from where I live, which is in McAllen, it's an 8.5-hour drive. It's basically going to Dallas, except this time you're going out of Houston to Louisiana. Okay. Well, not for Tyler, but for TSC, for Texas Southmost College, from their school, it's closer to 10 to 11 hours. 11-hour drive, at least. So, TSC men's side, we're playing against Louisiana State University Eunice, and I want to do this because I had read this a couple of days ago. And for the men's soccer roster this year, start off with the goalkeeper, Panther Williams, 6'0", 178 pounds, sophomore from Northamptonshire, England. Then Williams Jr., Anthony, for defender, 5'8", 150 pounds, from Denham Springs, Louisiana. So a lot of Louisiana stars. Let's go all the way down to the next one. Nicola Rutsch, 6'1", 190 pounds, from Copenhagen, Denmark. Cali, Colombia. Paris, France. Ireland, Germany. One from Houston, Texas. Quebec, Canada to be exact. Adelaide, South Australia. Quebec, Canada. Bogota, Colombia. Birmingham, England. A couple more from Louisiana, and then all the way down to Zimbabwe, down to France. And that's, of course, your players. Just, again, LSU units recruiting the way that you should recruit or try to is SAG. Even a couple of those players from across the pond. And it's the truth. It's TSC, we're going to have struggle. We're going to struggle against a team with that type of talent behind them. Now, yes, international players does not all automatically mean you're going to have success. But it's a type of leadership and a type of soccer play on the men's game that the U.S. can't bring. That's the truth. And not to mention, I brought this up yesterday, and I want to bring it up again. TSC are a good program. Their talent is good. Just everyone is that much better. It's the truth. The women's team played, again, like we mentioned, of course, they played against Tyler Junior College. They got beaten 8-0. Then they played last Wednesday against against Trinity Valley Community College. Trinity Valley Community College at the time were ranked 15th. We'll check the rankings here in a minute because I'm curious of how they all changed. Before, of course, the matches that were played last night. And then after Tuesday, or after Wednesday's match, then you look for Trinity Valley Community College. TSC drew them. It was a complete 180 switch that I had not seen before this season for the women's team. And I was much impressed. I thought to myself, okay. Interviewed the player of the match for TSC, and she just said, yeah, no, it was an impressive result from this team. We had the fight, and at the end of the interview, she said, if we can beat this team or prove that we can play with this team, we can beat anyone. Saturday was going to be a difficult one against Navarro College, top 5 ranked Navarro College in the nation. Navarro College came in and won 5-0 against Texas Southmost College. TSC right off the start, they played a physical game. They had some possession, had a couple of chances, but could not score. Difference was Navarro College, Community College, won the midfield battles, kept the possession in their own attacking third for the most of the match, and ended up winning 5-0, scoring some goals. One goal, I do have to say this, Sheila Aguilar comes out of her box, makes a save, dives one way to make the save. It gets pushed away to the right side of the goal, and the right post hits it into the back of the net. And it is goal number 4. So, off the rebound, perfect. Again, the way that match looked, I just said to myself, how does TSC not see this in my eyes? That's it. and want to improve their play. Even again, I say this, they're good, but everyone's that much better. You get 3 to 4 players from out of the valley, even Houston, Dallas ranks. You can see the difference right off the bat. Maybe get one international player. Or just around the nation. And try. Just once. See if it changes. Because TSC proved to me when they drew against the Trinity Valley Community College that they just need some more firepower. And that's not from the valley, that's from out of town. That's me. Losing 5-0 against the top 5 ranked team, okay. Fair enough, because I expected it in the end. So the soccer rankings again. Here's your top 20. Daytona State College stays at number 1. With Arizona Western College at number 2, Salt Lake Community College at number 3, Navarro College moves up to number 4. Iowa Western Community College moved up to number 5. Again, this is before the matches last night. Western Community College moves up to number 5. Eastern Florida State College moves up to number 6, or moves to number 6. Seminole State College to number 7, with Cowley County Community College at number 8. Motlow State Community College at number 9, with Monroe Community College at number 10. 11th was no college, as number 12 was Indian Hills Community College. Number 13, Hutchinson Community College. At number 14 is Tyler Junior College. They stayed the same. And Eastern Arizona College at 15. Trinity Valley Community College moves down to 16th. They did not have the week that they wanted to last week, to be exact. And Angelina College at 17th, with Lewis and Clark Community College at 18th, and Blinn College at 19th, and Garden City Community College at 20th. That's in the women's soccer top 20. Of course, right now, receiving votes is Ranger. So, just like the AP Top 25, you have that exactly. What does that mean? It just means that with the community college and all that fun stuff, that's what you get. Just realized, I'm about to go over the 3 p.m., so really having to wrap this up. It was interesting. I want to see more out of TSC. I think they can do okay this season, this conference, but it's going to be tough. I believe both are almost guaranteed a spot in the NJCAA tournament, fortunately for them. So that's a positive on them, but I would like to see them start to be victorious. It's going to be tough. They play at Angelina Community College a week from Saturday, or a week from Friday, so that will be interesting. And then a week from then, they play against Blaine College. So very exciting, a lot to really kind of break down again. There's just a lot to talk about. Really quickly, we will go a bit over. I just want to say this as well. Always wanting to give a shout out. This weekend is the Battle of the Bricks. That's going to be very exciting for the IMSA. 6 hours. One of my favorite series is a part of it, and that is the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Michelin Pilot Challenge is there this weekend as well. Good luck to Brian Herta Autosport, as always. Love that team, and one of my favorite teams as well, with the drivers of, once again, Bryson Morris, and as well as Matty Oust for that team. Looking forward to seeing what they can do. Anyways, very fun show. So much still to talk about. Just like we said, a lot coming up for RSL Network. Stay tuned for all of it on our social media pages, as, of course, with RSL Network on Facebook, Rio Sports Live, everywhere else. And just stay tuned to Rio Sports Live Network as well. We'll have all the games for you all this weekend. You can watch us on, Google Play Store. Just download the app, Fruia Sports Live Network, Roku TV,